Hello, and welcome back to Intern TV. We are still at our houses due to the social distancing, but we still have an action-packed episode for you. Today, I'm joined with my two co-hosts, Matthew Dopp and Jeff Wilson. Jeff, how are you?
Oh, we're doing wonderful. Doing wonderful. Just continuing to social distance. I must say, from your bedroom, you still look wonderful in your suit.
Thank you.
Just trying to stay busy and working hard. Matt Dopp, what's new with you? How we doing?
Uh, I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you guys again. Hope everyone's doing well at home. But listen, I gotta start off addressing the elephant in the room and getting on a little bit of a soapbox here. So Dave Portnoy, who's the so-called leader of Barstool Sports, has been doing these things where he's reviewing pizzas online. Then he's been getting packages and opening them. And last week, I saw him say, "You know what? You send me a package, I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna show it." So, me having my marketing brain that's always moving, I said, you know what, I'm sending this guy a package. So I put my advanced internet skills to work, found an address. I thought it was his. And I went, you know what, I'm going to send this package to him. So I started thinking about what Dave would want to see, what he would want, what would he would show to his people. And I figure, you know what, he's pretty egotistical. So I'm going to send him a trophy, right? So I had this trophy, went and wrote leader of the galaxy on it. I figured I'd crown him leader, give him something to celebrate. So also I went through the box, I wrote a nice note for him, put a cue card from Intern TV in there, try to plug the show, and then I sent him a nice signed photo of myself. Like who wouldn't want that? So the next day, taped it up, brought it to the post office, sent it out. A couple days later, it was Tuesday, got a nice email from the post office. Hey, the package is there. I was like, oh, hey, sweet. This is the moment. So, fast forward, Dave Portnoy goes live at 8 p.m. that night, do his unboxing. First hour goes by. Instagram Live only lets you be live for an hour. So Dave had to end it and go to a second hour. Here he comes. Second hour comes around. This guy claims his Instagram says he invented the internet, but didn't know how to work his camera. He was dark. He was for 5 minutes. He was ranting and raving about how he was dark on Instagram Live, and he was complaining about how he couldn't see himself. And then next thing you know, I look and I hear him opening my package, and instead of going through it all nice and carefully like he did everyone else, he reads my note, literally congratulating my galaxy, plugged the show. He says no and just throws it, just
It's
throws the
ridiculous.
package.
It's ridiculous.
So I was like, what is this? People are sending him lame shirts, lame hats, all this stupid stuff. He got a couple cool things like a sword and whatever. But who's going to send him a trophy? I sent him a trophy, a nice cue card. He had this would have been probably the biggest moment of his life, but instead he was all mad because he couldn't work his phone. So I feel like I got robbed. I mean, Dave, I got some Jewish in me. Like me and Dave were supposed to be brothers, and he abandoned me. I feel robbed. I paid $8.65 to get this shipped, and didn't even get my moment. He robbed me for it. So I, yeah, I was just really heated about it. And then to get even more infuriated, I come back minutes later, and some guy sent him a white hat, basic white hat, and he's like showing it off to the camera and all this. So it's like, Dave, what are you doing, man? So so listen, I'm a fan of Dave. I'm a fan of Barstool. Yeah, I respect the amount of work you put in. So I'm putting out a challenge here. I said, Dave, come on, Intern TV, buddy. Listen, we know we know that you and Barstool would not be anywhere near it is today without interns and help from college kids in your early days. All right? I know you had some dumb interns, but you know what? You can come on this show. You could come on this show. You can rant about interns, you could talk about interns. You could do whatever you want. You can even probably make fun of us if you want, but we're going to fight back because you know what? You owe it to me and this show for robbing us of our moment. So listen, right here. This is my Instagram, Matt Dopp. All right. I sent you a DM. The DMs are open. Message me back. And also, my Venmo is Matthew-Dopp-2. I want my $8.65 back, or you can write the check to me. All right, Matt Dopp. I'm not going to make you apologize because I respect you. All right. I understand you were mad you couldn't work the phone. You're not going to apologize, but listen, I got robbed from you. So listen, we want you on this show. We know you're claimed to be a big internet guy. Been riding Big Cat, and you got Erica to come and help sell your company. So let's come on a real show and get some more college kid help for you. So had to get that out there. Dave Portnoy embarrassing me in front of 50,000 people after, I went to support him, sent him a nice package, and all he did was read a line of my note and throw it. And first off, in early Barstool days, he would always make fun of this guy, Blind Mike. But Dave just opened a package, completely missed a silver trophy, and for a note. So you know what? He made Blind Mike look like a guy with 20/20 vision. So you, you know what, Dave? Dave Portnoy, you owe it to me, Matt Dopp, Jeff Wilson, Andrew Gold, and all our producers to come on Intern TV. Sit down. I know you've been day trading, losing a lot of money, so take a break doing that and come on a real TV show.
That's despicable. He robbed you of your moment. But you know who we're not going to rob of a moment? Our special guest for today, Thomas Dougherty. He's the captain of the hockey team, and he's also done a lot of internships at golf courses. Tommy, you there?
Yep, I got you, Andrew.
How are you, man?
Not too bad, man. I can't complain. You and the crew are looking stunning today, I must say.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Buttering us up.
So, how's the transition from at school classes to online classes for you?
It's a little bit different, that's for sure. I think between the professors getting used to Blackboard and putting all their assignments up online and grading online, it's a little bit of a struggle for them, and I think it's a struggle for us too because we're not used to not being in class for 6, 7 hours per week or however long it might be. So I think for everyone to adjust, everyone's doing their part, but it is what it is, and you take the most out of it.
Yeah, so Tommy, I know that you've done a lot of internships at golf courses, being a pretty big golf guy. I know for me, a lot of the golf courses are shut down, which is probably good for me. I won't embarrass myself, but how's your internships been impacted by this?
It's actually had a pretty big impact, especially if this continues where people aren't allowed out and everyone's locked into the house. At the moment, I'm supposed to be a summer intern for Concord Country Club. That'll supposed to start up in May, ideally, but at the moment, PA courses are mainly shut down. Delaware courses are only allowing residents of Delaware to come and play on them. So as soon as the golf courses open back up, my internship can start. So I'm just waiting on that day. But until then, we just hold on.
What's your title?
Just intern in the pro shop. So I'll be doing a couple different things inside and outside. It'll really depend on what he wants me to do as the head pro. I mean,
So being that obviously your internship is kind of on hold right now with all this going on, have you reached out to your boss and possibly talked about, hey, like if this doesn't happen over the summer, do I potentially still have this spot locked in for like the fall semester, or like have you talked to him about anything along those lines?
so I have not reached out to him and discussed if it doesn't happen. At the moment, I am still planning on this May opening and the summer going along as it usually does. But the issue I have is most of my internships can only happen during the summer because of my hockey schedule. So that kicks up in about end of September, beginning of November. So my availability would be out the window, and I would be not much use to them at the club anymore.
So going off of that,
Mhm.
like you mentioned, trying to fit that schedule and trying to arrange like your internships with your hockey schedule. Um, how have you, being at home now and doing this learning from home, how have you been able to create an effective schedule for Tommy Doc?
Great question, Jeff Wilson.
Thank you.
So between trying to stay in shape, which is tough when you're at home, but you try and do your own home workouts, take a run here and there. Recently, my girlfriend and I have been walking through a lot of parks in the local area. So, just kind of building up the legs here and there. But the best way I find is get my homework done in the morning or early afternoon and then enjoy the night from there. I find that later on during the day, I wouldn't say useless, but by the time 7 or 8 o'clock strikes, I'm not in the mood to do any homework anymore. So I try and get everything done in the morning and then carry on from there.
Yeah, so with that, I know for us, we've been talking about schedules a lot. Do you feel like you're adjusted to this schedule, and is it more productive for you, or have you sort of not liked the transition at all?
The only reason I wouldn't like it is just because I can't really leave the house, you know? If we were taking classes and I could still go ice skate, or I could go to the roller rink, or I could go to the gym, I think the adjustment would be easier. But with it being locked in the house and kind of everything on shutdown, you're trying to do everything within a confined area. And where I live for school is a bit of a shack, we'll call it. So
Yeah.
we don't have that much room to escape from each other. Everyone kind of has their own room, a living room, and a kitchen. So I try and go outside and use the available space. Like I said, been walking in parks recently. But like I said, the availability and not being able to go out just kind of slows down your day.
So being the captain on the hockey team, you have to have a certain skill set to become the leader of the team. How have you taken that skill set and transitioned it into your internships to make your work more efficient?
So for hockey players, it's kind of unique because a lot of D3 hockey players and a lot of Division 1 hockey players don't go to college until they're about 21 or 22 because they play juniors before. I think that's been a major help for me because I think that has helped build into my leadership role. I feel like when I attend class, I have no problem with participating. I have no problem with taking a lead in a group and helping other people out. Um, so I think those 2 or 3 years I took off from school to come back has just helped me out immensely. Like you said, in hockey and outside of hockey, especially in my internship roles. I'm able to, I think, take on tasks more confidently and more experienced than someone that is in their first internship or someone who hasn't had one at all. So I take that experience that I've had and bring it to wherever I go.
Yeah, so to hop back into your internships,
Hmm.
we've known each other for a little bit now, and I know that for your one internship at the DSGA,
Hmm.
you actually got a chance to go to the USGA headquarters,
Right.
which is kind of a big deal. So,
Hmm.
you want to give us some insight into that?
Yeah, that was cool. That was right at the beginning of the summer last year. I think it was in May. Got to go over to Jersey, about 2 hours away, and they set us up in a hotel about 5 minutes away from the headquarters. The headquarters consisted of not only a museum, but that's also where they work. So they have anything you can imagine that you would want at a golf internship. They have putting greens inside, workout facilities, and then, like I said, next to it is a museum which holds a ton of, uh, I guess you could say, legendary equipment and legendary clubs, legendary moments, trophies. That was awesome. And then they brought in interns from every single golf association around the country. So there was about 100 of us there, and it had people from Minnesota, Kentucky, Delaware, PA, New Jersey, anywhere you can think of. They brought in everyone. So being able to interact with those people and see what they do on a day-to-day basis. Some people were as old as 40, 50 years old, and then somewhere as like young as 17 or 18, I'd say. So the mix of people and the teaching that they gave us was something I couldn't have got anywhere else.
So, fun fact for you, just a little plug for Newman Sport Management. Jose
Hmm.
Jimenez, class of 2016, worked at the USGA. So, but going back to what you were mentioning of going to the headquarters, and being that you got to see all this different learning that they teach you there, is this something that you could definitely see you doing? Going down the path and continuing on this route, and potentially even working or interning at the headquarters.
For sure. Great question, Jeff Wilson.
Thank you.
So I learned after last year's intern that working with an association isn't something that I necessarily want to do. Uh, an association like the DSGA is very small, and they host tournaments once a week, once every 2 weeks. But someone like the USGA obviously hosts the big time tournaments. So maybe later down the road, after I've worked for a while, my main goal is to work at a club, ideally. So a private club or a public club, and be a head pro there. Um, After that time, I could see myself getting into that because then I would love to be able to work those big tournaments like the Masters, the Players Championship. all that good stuff. But I would need that knowledge of being a head pro, I think, to carry me into that role.
So being obviously like that golf is for you and that's where you want to be. How have you gone about finding these internships and being able to find these connections and build your network to put you in the positions that you've been in so far?
A lot of it is just talking to people, honestly. I remember last year with the DSGA, we hosted a tournament where it was a pro am tournament. So basically, it was the pro from a Delaware golf course and an amateur of their choosing would come out and play. So at that tournament, there was any head pro from any club in the area. So, being able to talk to those people, get my name out there. The DSGA actually hosted a tournament at Concord Country Club last summer when I was there. So I actually got to meet my new boss, who will be my boss hopefully in May,
Nice.
at that tournament. So, sit down, talk with him for a little bit just to get to know the club. And I think just that experience and him knowing my face really puts me above some other people.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take you back a question quick, just because I'm curious as to something you said. You
hmm
said that in your life you want to be a head pro
hmm
at a course. So what is that? What would that job entail? And did you have that club pro at DSGA that you got to learn off of?
So the DSGA is only a golf organization. What they do is people sign up to be part of their system. They don't own a golf course. They go around using other golf courses to host tournaments to get their name out there. They hold a handicap system, but when it comes to, like you said on the first part of your question, the head pro aspect, basically what you do is you run the golf side of a club or a course. So you open it up in the pro shop, you give lessons, you're the one organizing the tournaments inside of your club. Uh,
So
um,
I know you said you'd be teaching some lessons. Are you
right.
pretty good at golf?
I'm above average, we'll call it. Actually, it's a fact that it's a crazy fact. I know it's well above 50%. It could be even leaning towards 60 or 70% of golfers don't ever break 90, um, which is crazy to think about how many people golf and how many people struggle to beat that score. Like I said, I'm a okay golfer. It's kind of tough for me to focus on golf with my hockey schedule.
Yeah.
So I think when my senior year comes down, and then this summer, I'm really going to focus on trying to up my game and get back to where I was 2 or 3 years ago. I
So
was
what's your
probably a better
handicap?
golfer back then. When I stopped keeping track of it, I was like an 8.5, which is okay. You probably have to get down to a scratch golfer to be a head pro. So
Hmm.
I
I'm
would,
like an 18.
yeah, like I said, most people don't usually break 90. I'm sure a lot of people struggle to break 100. But it's all repetition, just like any sport, just like any job or any experience. It's just getting yourself out there and doing it. So for me, being able to work at a club consistently and be there on a day-to-day basis will really help me get my game to where I want it to be.
Speaking of that, it's story time, Tommy Doc. Because when you intern, there's good moments and there's bad moments. Is there any moments that really will stick with you for like the rest of your life that happened while interning at any of these golf club, not clubs,
Um,
golf courses?
that's tough. So my first internship was with Hartfeld National, and I worked 5 years there before I interned. So I worked the 5 years outside, being the range picker, the guy who drives around the driving range and everyone aims at. I was cleaning balls, cleaning clubs, setting up people to go out in their rounds. And then the next summer, I was just kind of stuck in the pro shop. Uh, and honestly, one of the toughest things I had to do, and something that's going to stick with me, but something I have to get used to, is telling old people that they're playing too slow. It's actually a lot tougher than you would think. Usually when they're at a private club, they don't want a 19, 20-year-old kid coming up to them and saying, "Hey, pick up the pace because you're slowing everyone else down." So I
Right.
can remember a couple times where people would give me attitude, and then I'd have to go back to my head pro and say, "Hey, they weren't listening to me, so you might have to go out there. When I was with the DSGA, my second internship, I didn't really have to worry about that as much, as I didn't really have any room to say, "Hey, pick up the pace." It wasn't my club to say anything.
Right.
So, out of all my experiences, I think that was one of the tougher things that I had to learn to do. But when I step into the role of a head pro, I think I'm going to be doing that every day. So I might as well get used to it now.
I know when I was in high school, I volunteered at a golf tournament, and I got a couple nice tips under the table. You ever get some dough thrown your way?
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the upsides of working the 5 years that I did outside at a private club. A lot of people store their bags. And if you're the face that they see every single day, they tend to throw you a little bit more money. So we would strategically put out who's working, what they're doing that day. So you were either downstairs washing carts for 6 hours, or you were up top cleaning clubs, talking to members. And by
That's how
the
you
end of
bought
my
that Mercedes, right?
yeah, exactly. A couple tips here and there, and I was able to buy myself a Mercedes. Um, but yeah, that was nice. I would always bank on that for the summer. My tips coming in. So the tips were a great part of that job.
So you worked at Hartfeld, and
Hmm.
as I'm seeing you here, I'm noticing that you got a little flag action going on behind you representing Hartfeld. Just wanted to
Yep,
point that out. Notice that you took a little stock in the company there.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
Obviously, with your internships, you got started rather early in your college career.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to younger students or even students in general on taking that leap of faith and getting that head start and getting something going and getting something on their resume?
I think people are uh, sometimes timid, and they think it's going to be a scary experience for them to get an internship or to start in the real world, I guess you can consider it. But ever since I came in as a sports management major, Dr. J and Kayla Mezzi always were telling us, don't be afraid and go get out there. And it's true. If you're a student coming in and you don't know what you want to do or where you want to intern, I mean, what's the worst that you're going to do? Go work at a place for 3 months. You don't like it. Now you know you don't want to do that with your life. With the experience comes people that you know. It brings knowledge. It brings a lot you can take after you're done here at school. So for anyone coming in or anyone that's still here, just get an internship and try it out. Like I said, worst comes to worst, you don't like it.
Yeah, so a big part of us in the sport management industry is creating connections and establishing relations. So it's not a lot of time it's who knows you. And I know for
Hmm.
you, you like to head over to the Victory Brewing Company where you still see your bosses every now and then. So
That's right. That's right.
how you forge and building that relationship to set yourself up for the future.
So speaking on that, I go to trivia on the Wednesdays that I can at the Victory Brewing Company in Kennett Square, PA, which is 2 minutes from my house. And my old boss, who is the ex head pro at Hartfeld, he's one of my good buddies still to this day. He's 20, he's probably pushing 30, 31 by now. So he's a little bit older, but every time I'm there, I'm able to pick on him, and he's able to give me advice because he went through the same thing that I did. Ever since he stopped working there, which was a year ago, he works over in Jersey now for Bet365. Um, like I said, he's been there every step of the way saying what'll be good for me, what'll be bad for you. And he was the one that suggested I go to DSGA and try out an organization before I go to a different club. So being in contact with him has helped me out immensely. And he was one of the first people I met at Hartfeld. He was an assistant pro back in the day. So he went up the rankings. I went up the rankings together, and we worked there for 6 years. And like I said, I still talk to him now. So
So, that sounds all fun and dandy. Still getting to hang out with your boss and have a nice cold water.
mhm.
Um, so, with all the highs, there's always a low. So, do you have any advice on facing rejection or any personal rejection stories that you would like to share with us?
um, not to toot my own horn, but a lot of the places I've applied to, I've done pretty well at, and I've got accepted to, except for this summer. This just in the past month or two, I applied to Kennet Country Club, and I walked out after my interview and I took a Snapchat of the course and I was like, new course, who this? All excited, thinking I got the job and everything. And then a couple days, maybe a week later, I got it was definitely longer than that. I'd say it was a couple weeks. He called me back and he was like, "Yeah, sorry, we're not going to be hiring you. I really liked you, but we just moved on to someone else." And you know what? I should have asked him why I didn't get it because why not? I'm
Yeah.
already not getting the job, so you might as well figure out why he didn't get the job. I never ended up asking him. I'd be interested to know, but that was a rejection that I just got recently.
So, with that rejection, what advice would you give the students on how to cope with that and go from there? Like, would it just be that simple? Ask why, because then you can take that information and build upon that.
For sure. It's helpful to know where you went wrong. It's helpful to know why someone was better than you or why someone got the job maybe before you did. So don't get butthurt about it. Just, take the positive sides out of it. I got shut down from one club. That's okay. There's 3 or 4 other private clubs within 20 minutes. Kennet Country Club would have been nice because it was 2 minutes away from my house. I could have left at 7:58 every day and get there for my 8 a.m. shift. But it's not the end of the world to get rejected from a place. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. So I stick by that.
So, Tommy, we know you're a fan of the show, so we have this little segment. It's called Quick Six. We're gonna put you in the hot seat now. Usually we'd switch chairs right now, but we're at our houses. I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but we're gonna rapid fire questions at you, and you
Okay.
have to answer them as fast as you can.
All right.
First question. All right, I'll start. Would you rather have a bug by your ear buzzing all the time for the rest of your life, or have Cheeto cheese on your fingertips all the time?
Probably Cheeto cheese. I love nacho cheese Doritos, so I could lick my fingers all day if I had to, but I'd go nuts with the bug in my ear.
If you had to pick between only playing hockey or only playing golf for the rest of your life, which would it be?
I'm going to stick with ice hockey.
Nice.
I know you're from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, the mushroom capital of the world. You have a farm in your backyard or any near you?
I do not have a farm and I don't even like mushrooms, but I take pride in it. So,
What?
yeah, I know. Crazy.
Would you rather meet Claude Giroux or Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods. I hate the Flyers, so.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow. He's a Penguins fan.
Yeah, sorry.
Are you a milk and then the cereal, or a cereal and then the milk?
Cereal, then milk. Any other way is criminal.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite trail to go hiking on?
I'm a big fan of White Clay. It's in Landenberg, PA. It also connects into Delaware, too.
The great state of Delaware.
Is that a flat
great
flat
state.
track or you got some elevation there?
You got some hills, got a nice little creek here and there, some trees, some dogs, a little bit of everything,
A crick. Typical Kennett crick.
all right, Tommy. Well, we're coming to an end here. You have any advice you want to say to the viewers?
My best advice is, like I said, you got to keep on keeping on. Even if you get rejected, it's not the end of the world. Don't be offended. Take it as a positive and keep looking for a job or keep looking for an internship. Stay in school, graduate, get your diploma because it can only help. You learn things in school that you're not going to learn in the real life. So,
That's a true leader.
that is a true leader right there. So, thank you, Tommy, for coming on. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff, my co-host Jeff Wilson, and my co-host Matt Dopp. And this is another episode of Intern TV. See you next week.
Andrew,
can I say thanks?
I was gonna say before we exited to do the social distancing reminder and like give a shout out to all the essential workers.
Can we film that like right now? Cool.
Nice. Love
I'm gonna
that.
challenge Dave Portnoy quick again at the end.
Nice.
Just
So we'll
quick,
go.
not a long.
We'll go. Let's go. Matt Dopp challenge Dave Portnoy. Andrew, you give a social distancing reminder. I'll say thanks to the essential workers.
Yeah, Andrew, just
All
say like, fellas, you got any last words?
All right, I can do. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
And then we'll go Matt, Andrew, me.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, fellas, you got any last words?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Dave Portnoy, we want you on the show. You robbed me of my 865. Look, there's my Instagram, Matt_Dopp. DMs are open. Get on the show.
And also, remember to keep social distancing. We're all fighting through this together, and soon we'll be back into our normal lives. Jeff, anything?
Yeah, just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the essential workers, healthcare workers, grocery store employees, anybody who has to be out and risking their health in these times. We're super grateful for everything, and keep on keeping on, and we're thankful for all you're doing for us.
Well, there it is. Thank you for coming and watching another episode of Intern TV. We'll see you next week.